It's a pleasure to talk to you about this film. I went to see it. I had no idea what it was about, so it was a complete great surprise.
Okay.
Is it the kind of story that you get very passionate about? Do you get immersed in it?
I get immersed in it, yeah. In a way, it's not so much a passion as it is like an obsession and a curiosity, and it's, you know, a passion can only last so long, and it took 8 years to make this film, and it never left me. You know, I was never not
thinking about
curious about it, you know, and even when I failed to get it made originally and went off and made another film, made Moneyball, and then came back to it, it still, you know, kept its power. You know, and it's one of these things, like, the more you look at it and the more carefully you look at it, the more you see. So maybe not passion, but, you know, the compulsion or obsession.
Well, it was quite serendipitous that you offered Channing the role a few years ago, and then he did it now, I mean, recently, because I think his maturity as an actor made him understand the role much more emotionally.
Yes. Yeah, I saw Channing Tatum in a film called Guide to Recognizing Your Saints that was excellent, and he was amazing in it.
Yeah,
he was amazing in it. And he had not done much else at the time. And this is a small, independent film, and I offered him the role. And looking back at it, I feel fortunate that I was not capable of raising the money the first time around, and that he did have these years to, you know, develop as an actor.
Talk about Steve Carell, one of his performances. I describe it as one of his performances of a lifetime, because it's the kind of role that comes far and few, such an interesting character to portray. Despicable, but very, very interesting. Tell us a bit about Steve's approach to it.
Steve had a very serious approach right from the beginning, and from our first meeting, he came forward and said, look, I understand that this is not a comedy, and there's a lot in this story that on its surface is very funny, but I wouldn't play it comedically because, you know, it's a tragic story. And he really went at it with, I think, you know, a responsibility to the people who lived the story, and to the widow of the man who this character murdered, and to his family. And you know, he had just a very sincere, serious, sober, and solemn approach to getting into it.
So did you. I mean, there's no sensationalization of the story. You kind of approach it in a very soft, quiet way. I'm sure it was a choice to do it that way, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, how do I say this?
You kind of made us live it.
Yeah, I mean, this film does not tell a story, it observes a story.
Exactly.
You know, it's not selling anything. It's not trying to wow you with kind of colorful, sensationalized, you know, nonsense. It's really much more of like a sharpening of the focus under the microscope, and it's an attempt to unflinchingly look at something that you hardly get to ever see because of the temptation to sensationalize or to judge or to, you know, take a moral position on or something like that. You know, it's very easy to take this material and stir it up into something that can outrage you or scare you or something like that. But behind all of that, if you really just look at it, there's something much more interesting than being, stimulated like that.
It's true.
So the style of the film is to just
Observe, be the third eye.
Just steady.
How much did the music play a part in that? The choice of music helps the non-sensational aspect, I think.
I mean, the music is beautiful, and 3 composers really working on it, and also used Arvo Pärt, Estonian composer. And the music in the film, to me, is more like the consciousness of the film. It puts, hopefully, the audience in the mind of the film, not the characters in the film. So it's more about, evoking a perspective of how to see, as opposed to, if it's a scary moment, scary music, an excited moment, exciting music, a sad moment, sad music. So there's none of that. It's much more about kind of harmonizing you to a perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.